Good morning, Harry. Good morning, Harry. Oh,
Hey, Joe, I just want to test my mic. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear
All right.
me?
Yep, perfect. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock. We're just going to wait another minute or so, as usual, to make sure everybody that's registered for the call has a chance to join, and then we can start today's sales meeting. So we'll just hold on for 1 or 2 more minutes and we'll start. Thanks. All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. We have about 20 people on the call right now. I think there's about 35 that are registered. So we've already given everybody a few minutes extra to join. So we'll get started with today's sales meeting. All right, so today's agenda, the 11 do's and don'ts to building a solid personal brand. We're going to start off with branch housekeeping, and Joseph is going to cover that off again in today's topic. Then, as usual, we'll have Joe DiGiambattista from Polo Loans join us with a quick mortgage market update. And as always, we have time for any Q&As from our realtors. So we're going to review the top 5 agents for the month of October. This is based on gross commission earned. So again, we'd like to congratulate Paul Johnston, Ashraf Siddiqui, Rodolin Encarnacion, Jacob Birkenbilt, and Matt Manuel for the top grossing commission agents for the month of October. And we also like to recognize the top 5 agents with the most transactions. So again, congratulations to Rodolin, Reza, Michael Wang, Amalia German, and Paul Johnston. So we'll start off with branch housekeeping, and Joseph Andrada is joining us on today's meeting, and he'll go over today's branch housekeeping. Go ahead, Joseph.
Thanks, Harry. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Let's start off with the branch housekeeping. Can you go to the next slide, Harry? Thank you. Let's start off by talking off the agent portal system. So as of today, it has been 2 months since the new system has been rolled out. And we've been getting a lot of questions lately with respect to the portal. So head office has made frequently asked questions about the agent portal that you can refer to on Wolf Connect for your reference. The most recent FAQs that have been posted is expanding more on the importance of the update deal function on the portal. There are links where you can click on once the review of the sales meeting and the recap has been sent out along with the slides. So when you guys get that recap and a copy of the slides, you can click on those 2 links to refer to the frequently asked questions, or you guys can go on to Wolf Connect under the section that is labeled Agent Portal dash Deal Submission. We also want to let all of you know that suspensions of listing agreements can now be submitted through the portal to request for signing. So you guys don't have to email the admins anymore at your respective branches. What you guys need to do is once you've uploaded your listing documents to the portal, you click on Update Deal, you input your ticket number for your listing, and then under the purpose of the update, you just click on Suspension of Listing, upload the form, and the admins at the front desk will get the notification to process. Right, Prex. So Prex are now available at Right at Home Realty. An important reminder that Prex are not for everyone. You will need to make a certain income for it to be beneficial to you. So we do suggest that you seek advice from your accountant and do a review of your financial position to see if a Prex makes sense for you. If a Prex is something for you, you guys can always contact myself or the other branch admins or your branch manager, Harry, to get the Prex sign-up documents. And we do have a section on Prex as well on Wolf Connect, as you can see with the little screenshot below under corporate news. There's registering your Prex with Right at Home Realty and RICO FAQs with regards to Prex. The last thing we want to address at branch housekeeping is the legacy version of Korea Web Forms is being discontinued. The legacy version of Web Forms is the old version. Some of you guys are still able to view or download old transactions and files. We do want to make you guys aware that effective December 17th of this year, you guys will no longer have access at all to the legacy version of Web Forms. So we just want to ensure that all of you guys are able to move any of your old transaction kits and clauses from the old legacy version into the new Web Forms. We also included a link to help you guys learn how to migrate those transaction kits from the old Web Forms to the new one. So again, when the recap is sent out and you have a copy of the slides, you can click on the link for a video tutorial of how to do so. Web Forms is also offering a free live webinar for any of you guys that are not familiar with the new system or who want to learn how to master the new system as well. If you click on that link, when the recap is sent out to you guys, you can register for a webinar, and a representative from Korea will definitely be able to help you out with respect to that. And if you have any questions about web forms whatsoever, Korea does have a support team that you can call for any help or any inquiries. You can contact them at 1-888-237-7945, or you can also email them at support@korea.ca. As usual, for the Don Mills branch, we have our branch staff contact information if you need any help. Unfortunately, Paulo is no longer with us at the Don Mills branch. He's managing Newmarket and Barrie. So if you need any managerial support, you can always contact Harry. His best point of contact is his email address, as it states there, harryn@rightathomerealty.com. For branch admin support, you can contact myself, you can contact Andrew, or you can contact Megan at adminsdm@rightathomerealty.com, or at the branch phone number 416-391-3232, pressing option 2.
All right, great. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate that. As Joseph mentioned, Paulo is now managing the Newmarket and Barrie branches. It's a great move for him. It's actually closer to where he lives. He actually lives in Orangeville, I think. So we're in the process of sourcing out a new manager here. We've had a couple of interviews, and I think we've made an offer to one of those people that we've interviewed. So, I think we'll probably have somebody in place over the next couple of weeks, and we'll make that announcement when it happens. So today's topic, 11 do's and don'ts to building a solid personal brand. And I just want to emphasize that, when I'm interviewing agents that are transferring to our brokerage or new registrants that are coming out of Humber College, I always stress to them that they are the brand. You guys are the brand. The brokerage is not the brand. You guys do all the work, 100% of the work. All the business basically comes through you guys, and you guys need to brand yourself, not the brokerage. And that's the good thing about Right at Home Realty. We're a corporate structure. We're not a franchise operation. A lot of agents that work at franchise operations like Remax and Royal LePage, C21, Home Life, whatever it is, they pay franchise fees. When you pay franchise fees, you're paying to brand the brokerage. So that's one good thing about being with Right at Home Realty, is that you guys don't pay any franchise fees, and you get to earn 100% of the commission. So let's say you're coming from a brokerage where there was a split. You can now take that split that you were paying the other brokerage and invest it into your brand, which is what every realtor should be doing. So the last 2-3 weeks, we've been covering off business planning for 2021. We had part 1 and part 2. And before we did business planning, we had a seminar on, or a meeting on, do you have the right mindset to be a successful realtor, right? So what we're going to cover today is basically taking everything that we've discussed in the last 2-3 weeks and putting it all together, and basically trying to get you guys to build a personal brand and putting in a marketing plan as well. So what you need to do to build a solid personal brand, you need to have a value proposition, number 1 there. So a value proposition is what differentiates you from other realtors. We have 58,000 realtors on the Toronto Real Estate Board. We all have access to the same information, but what you need to do is, when you're trying to reach out and get business, again, we all have the same resources and assets that we can pull from, but you need to differentiate yourself from everybody else. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You also need to have a personal brand. What will your personal brand do for the consumer that you want to turn into a client? And finally, you need to have a marketing plan. How will you reach your target market with your value proposition in your brand? So again, you need a roadmap, just like a business plan. You need a roadmap to reach your target market. So we'll cover all of that today. So number one in the do's and don'ts, this is a don't. Do not hinge your value proposition on being better than your competition. A common mistake realtors make with branding and marketing is they simply say they are better than other agents and thinking that this will be enough to win clients. I know if you've been in this business for a while, you've probably heard this over and over from different realtors or this talk in the industry that, you know, this agent is this and this agent is that, and I'm much better than them and I can do better than that. You do not want to do that. You don't want to hinge your value proposition on that. You don't want to market yourself as a real estate professional. Like I just mentioned, there are 58,000 of them out there. And anybody you talk to probably knows about 6 or 7 of them that they could refer. You can tell a prospect that you are better, but being better is subjective. What might be right for you might not be right for somebody else. So again, you need to come up with a value proposition to differentiate yourself from all the other realtors and explain that value proposition to the consumer. Hopefully, once you do this, this will turn them into a client. Number two, what you need to do is focus on differentiating yourself. This is what we just spoke about a little bit. This is a big item. So instead of trying to explain how better you are than everybody else, you need to figure out how you're different than other realtors. A fact that's less subjective and easier to prove. When consumers go to realtor.ca or any other real estate search engine website for a property, they browse on the site, and for the most part, all of the realtors that are on those sites are the same, and you cannot differentiate them. You cannot tell them apart. What happens is that you blend in and you look the same. You end up in what we have coined the sea of sameness. You don't want to end up in that sea of sameness. You want to differentiate yourself. So when this sea of sameness happens, consumers have no choice but to view you as a commodity or transactional being, and no one got into the business to be viewed like that. You want to be viewed as somebody that's a trusted real estate advisor that they can go to for advice and guidance. So you must set yourself apart from everybody else. Again, we usually have a recap. Joseph sends out a recap the following day with a recording of the video and a copy of the PowerPoint as well. So number three, do not try to market to everyone. And we talked about a little bit about this in our business planning in part 2. We gave you 10 different marketing ideas that you can implement into your business. And what we stressed is do not do 6, 7, 8, or all of these marketing ideas. You need to concentrate on 1, 2, maybe 3 of them at most, and implement 1 or 2 of them. That way you're not spreading yourself thin and you're not spreading your resources and your money over 6, 7 different marketing ideas. So part of differentiating yourself is identifying the target market you want to serve. So you can create a brand, a marketing strategy that will speak to consumers in that specific target market that you want to serve. So for example, you want to look at a target market like maybe first-time home buyers, uh, landlords like rental properties, move-up buyers, luxury homes, whatever target market you want to work, that you want to serve, that you want to identify, you need to create a brand and marketing strategy that will speak to the consumers in that target market. So what it boils down to for everyone is that you can't be all things to all people. This is just a recipe for failure. Trust me on this one. I'm speaking from experience. So, for example, some people like to target an expansive demographic market. A particular demographic market might be people that are aged from 25 to 54. You do not want to do that. That's just too wide of a target market. So you need to drill down on a specific market sector who needs the skills that you possess. So review what you do well and try and nail down a specific market sector for your skills. You have to look at it this way. 25-year-olds and 54-year-olds have very little in common when it comes to things that they seek. So you have to market to them in different ways. All right, I think this is the 4th point. So to build a solid personal brand, you need to show your personality. Your personality is part of your brand. Real estate agents often think their brand must be separate from who they are as a person, and their logo, tagline, and brand colors are enough to make people connect. This is not true. So your personality and your backstory are two factors that will turn the tide in an uber competitive marketplace. Again, when you're in the sea of sameness, all realtors look the same. So when you bring your personality into this, you're kind of differentiating yourself, and you bring in your backstory. Hopefully, it's a good one. And when you're bringing that to the forefront, you're differentiating yourself from other agents, and this is what you want to do. So this should be part of building your brand. If your personality is not infused into your marketing materials so that people understand who you are, this is a big mistake. There could be something in you with your personality or in your background or in your backstory that you need to market to people that people will be receptive to. So you need to take advantage of this. Consumers need to know who you are as a person. This is really what separates us from everybody else and why people choose a person over another to do business with. People instinctively want to know the story behind the face. So again, there might be something in your personality or your backstory that triggers that consumer to want to work with you. So make this part of your building your brand. Next point, don't be inconsistent. So you need to follow the 7-11-21 rule to be consistent, which notes that consumers need to see your name, they need to see your face 7 times before they recognize it. They need to see your name and face along with what you do or what you specialize in 11 times before they remember it. So 7 times they need to see your name and face, 11 times to recognize it, and 11 times they need to see your name, face along with what you do before they remember it. So in essence, it takes 21 times of all three before they hire you. So this 7-11-21 rule works really well with geographic farming. And geographic farming was one of the marketing ideas that we gave in business planning part 2. And if you've come on these meetings before, you've heard me say that there are realtors in our industry. They have made a fabulous career um, with one simple lead generation technique, and that's geographic farming. There's a lot of superstar agents out there that make a lot of money, do a lot of deals with this one simple lead gen idea. And we have Matthew Weinstein coming on, I think sometime in November. He's with Morris Marketing, and his company specializes in how to create a geographic farm and how to market to a geographic farm. This geographic farming is not for everyone. There's an investment involved, and it doesn't happen overnight. So just go to our Wolf Connect. Just go to Wolf Connect and go to our training calendar and look for Matthew's seminar, and please register for that if you're interested in geographic farming. So again, if you fail to meet any one of these steps in the 7-11-21 rule, you end up with spray and pray marketing initiative, which is what you do not want. With the spray and pray marketing initiative, all you're doing is spraying and praying your brand and hoping that the market sticks, your marketing material sticks somewhere with somebody. Inconsistency breeds confusion. Something real estate agents and brokers cannot afford to create when consumers have a plethora of options to work with. So you need to be consistent in your branding. Otherwise, they'll just use another realtor. Next step in building a solid personal brand. A lot of realtors do not take advantage of this opportunity. You should be working with coaches. There are senior executives, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies that have coaches. Everybody needs a coach, to be honest with you. If you do decide to use a coach, do properly contextualize the role of the coach. Many real estate professionals are quick to blame coaches if their business doesn't take off as expected. So the coach's job basically is to show you how to use their systems and processes. Their job isn't to differentiate you. So your job is to take the coach's system and processes and implement them. Again, if you took our business planning part one, part two, we use that word a lot. I use that word a lot, not only with coaches, but when you go to take these seminars to, you know, to increase your lead generation or to become a better realtor. You've heard me say this before. You pay your money, you go to the seminar, you get the course materials, you go home, and what do 95% of realtors do? They put the materials they've paid for on their desk and they don't open them. They just sit there and they collect dust. You need to implement what you learn. So if you're going to hire a coach, implement their systems and processes. You have to act. So the next step in building your brand, uh, do not conflate branding and marketing. They're two different things. So real estate agents often think branding and marketing are different terms for the same thing. Branding is about defining your culture, value proposition, and story, while marketing is about pushing your brand to the public. So it's two steps. Branding, identify your culture, what your value proposition is, what your unique selling proposition is. So USP, we call it, unique selling proposition. You need to you need to have this or a value proposition in order to differentiate yourself from other realtors. This is your brand. This is who you are. The marketing comes in is basically to push your brand, who you are, to the public. So two different things. People don't do business with a logo; they do business with a person. Part of your branding, when you're trying to put together what your branding is, part of your branding is you need to create trust with the consumer. When you build trust with the consumer, they will become your client. You have to remember that people in the marketplace, whatever sales job it is, whether it's selling insurance, cars, or a realtor, when you meet the consumer for the first time, they have their guard up. The key to be successful in real estate or any sales position is you need to bring that guard down. And how you bring that guard down is by gaining the consumer's trust. Trust is everything in sales and in life in general. Once you have their trust, they will become your client. So if you don't define what makes you different from everybody else, what does the same thing, who does the same thing, you're going to be wasting a lot of marketing money. Again, you need to sit down, put together a plan, a business plan, put together your branding, put together your marketing, and make sure it's different from everybody else or the majority of other realtors in your marketplace. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your time, your effort, your resources, your money. Any questions so far? All right, so let's move on to the next step of building a solid personal brand. So you need to define your focus and direction. Most agents flounder with branding and marketing because they try to appeal to everyone. Again, be consistent. Don't try and spray and pray, hoping something sticks. You need to be specific about who you want to serve and what you want to do with this acronym below, HEAP, HEAP. So H stands for your target audience is someone you can truly help. E is for your target audience and you need to work with people that you enjoy working with. A is working with people that appreciate your work. And P stands for your target audience should include people who are going to help you be profitable. So again, if you use this acronym when you're trying to define your target audience, um, please try and hit each one of these targets. Next point in building a solid personal brand, don't dim your star power. So when it comes to differentiation, realtors have a difficult time because they think there's nothing special or notable about them. You need to sit down and basically write what your strong suits are, what you do best, and concentrate on these items. There are a lot of things that make you special, and there's a lot of star power within you. It becomes about choosing which one will take you forward. So we just need to pull this out of you. Stop thinking that you're boring. You can't see the label when you're inside the jar. Everyone has something special inside them. So in this case, it's a case of, when something's going on, let's say in somebody's life, and there's people on the outside looking in, their focus and their mind is more clear than somebody that's in it. So maybe you want to sit down with a fellow colleague or a trusted advisor or somebody that you trust in your life, a family member, a friend, whoever it is, and maybe just get them to critique you and maybe let you know what you do really well and what you don't do really well, and what they like best about you, and work off of those points. So that might be an exercise that everybody might want to do. Once you've identified that magic element, it's important agents properly reflect that through a logo and slogan that attracts their target audience to that specific element or that specific talent that you have. This will kick in the door and entice people to want to know more about you. What a well-crafted logo and slogan will, this is what a well-crafted logo and slogan will do for you. So again, we have a company, they're a preferred vendor. They're on Wolf Connect. Joey, if you're still on the call, do you remember the name of that company that does branding and marketing and websites for you? We have Income, but there's another company that we recently hired on.
Webware.
Webware, exactly. Thanks, Joey.
No problem.
So we have a preferred supplier, Webware. They can do all these things for you. They can help you with branding and marketing, and basically, getting and working on your talents and getting them exposed to your target market. So again, you might want to take a look at that as well. So another item to building a solid personal brand, you need to display yourself everywhere. After doing the hard work of branding, it's time to market yourself everywhere to your target audience. So again, you need to build a brand, and you need to know which target audience you're going to be marketing to. Consumers need to see the same thing everywhere you go. So your branding and marketing materials must be consistent, must look consistent through each material, and be consistent on a regular basis. It's about creating messaging that speaks to the heart of your customer. So for example, you can say, if you're looking for A, B, or C, whatever it is, here's how I can help you achieve it, is an effective messaging format. So if you're looking to get into the condo market downtown, this is how I can help you achieve breaking into the condo market downtown. If you're a first-time home buyer, this is how I can help you achieve getting into the market. Or if you're looking for that dream home, this is how I can achieve you. This is how I can help you to achieve getting your dream home. So this is an effective messaging format. Again, reach out to different marketing and branding companies for help with this. And as I just mentioned earlier, Webware is one of them. When you do it right, your brand becomes a soldier for you that works 24/7. So this is what you need. This is what you want to build a book of business. You want to brand yourself, market yourself, have that value proposition, and you want to put it in place so that it works 24/7 for you in generating business. Another point, don't be afraid of rebranding. So this is probably targeted to those realtors that have been in the business for a while and maybe they're not happy with their current branding if they do have a brand at all, or marketing if they do have any marketing at all. So don't be afraid to rebrand and do this. So realtors need to update their photos on a regular basis and update their marketing materials, their graphics every 2 to 3 years. Be current. While other items can be updated as needed. However, if you move to or expand to a new market or shift your value proposition or shift your unique selling proposition, a rebrand is needed. So if you want to go from working with first-time home buyers to obviously working with the luxury section, luxury sector of the real estate market, you need to rebrand yourself. A lot of things can be changed without about the aesthetics of a brand, but the core of who you are does not change. All right, so that's it for today's topic, the 10 or 11 do's and don'ts on how to build a solid brand. Are there any questions with respect to today's topic? Okay, I don't see anything in the chat. And I see that Joe DiGiambattista from Polo Loans is on the call. Hi, Joe. How are you?
How are you guys?
Good. So do you have a PowerPoint to put up?
Yeah, if you can share the screen, we got some good data for today.
All right. So I need to make you a
Co-host.
co-host. So give me one.
You're still the boss, though, Harry. You're still the boss.
Thank you. All right. So there we go. You're the co-host.
All right. Everybody can see that?
Yep, we're good to go.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start off just with rates. Rates again, this actual slide is incorrect. The 5-year fixed on the insured side is down to 1.64.
Wow.
1.64 for a 5-year mortgage. Unbelievable. We'll talk about that in a second as to the impact of the marketplace. But again, rates are simply fantastic. Pre-approvals, just a quick comment on here. We're doing a lot of pre-approvals. We're seeing a lot of pre-approvals. It's the only way for us to get to a firm offer versus a conditional offer is a fully underwritten pre-approval. The only way for us to argument or discuss a appraisal value coming in later than an APS value, we need all that data up front with the pre-approval. So the pre-approval is very important. 6 out of 10 are getting pre-approvals, they say, although 2 out of the 10 of those, 2 out of the 6 are actually rate holds. So we have 6 out of 10 people that really don't know if they can meet conditions and close on the deal. So it's very important that the pre-approval is done upfront and not just reviewed, but a full underwrite. We need to do, especially in today's market, we need to do a full underwrite on the pre-approval. Getting into some information, we have RBC's most recent economic report. It was sent to the team, and it can be dispersed to you. And when we finish the presentation here, I'm going to just show you some of the data that is available on that website and through the information provided by RBC. It really tracks back to what Harry talked about. The value of this data is not just for your own education. The purpose of this data is for you to leverage it with your database. We used to traditionally get some deals through putting our name on a bus or on a bench and waiting for the phone to ring. We're not seeing that today as much because of the pandemic. So we're really seeing success with people that are leveraging their database. And if you want to leverage your database properly, you need to provide them with information that's educational, that's new, that's relative. And then from there, you can continue to build a relationship with them and ask for business as well as ask for referrals. So very important stuff. But the first thing we're seeing out of the RBC report, and this really isn't a big change for us, is they're saying that there was a lot of pent up demand over the spring, which was on hold because of the pandemic, and then came into the marketplace in the summer. And we saw that we had a very active summer. And as a result of that, we were thinking that the fall, and this is what RBC was expecting, was the fall was going to be a cooler period. We're not seeing that. I think the fall is almost as hot as it was in June and July. We saw a little bit of a break in September, but October has been gangbusters again. So I think we're, with the continued reduction in rates, and some of the stats I'm going to show you on the next slide, you're seeing some really good activity in this market right now. So there's opportunity. And we're going to talk about two distinct opportunities in these next two bullet points. So the rental market is cooled in Canada, and they're saying in some of the largest and least affordable cities. We're seeing that. We're seeing condo prices go down in the city of Toronto. We're seeing rental rates go down in the city of Toronto. And they're saying that is partly because of the issues and the concerns regarding the short-term rental business and new purpose-built rentals being added to the marketplace. When you couple that with the next comment that condo investors are looking to sell because of the vacancies as the rental market softens and more condo completions coming to the marketplace, we're seeing that condo market start to quiver a little bit. It's moving downward a little bit. That's opportunity. That's opportunity. Unless you think that the condo market in Toronto and the downtown core is going to stay down, then it's not opportunity. But if you think that there's an opportunity for that condo market to come back post-pandemic within 12 to 24 months with immigration and things along those lines, then that's a good opportunity to buy. So there may be some information or some activity that you could, that you might have with some customers that are thinking, you know what, I can get a condo cheaper by 100 grand today. Let's jump on it because it might not be that cheap in a year from now. So some interesting information coming out of the Royal Bank on their expectation for the condo market. This next point, again, not something we don't know. We're seeing a lot of people move out of the 416 and into more larger space, more affordable space, less competitive space. And with rates being as low as they are, and we're expecting rates to be as low as they are for the next 2 to 3 years, they're calling for, unless we see some change in inflation. If we keep inflation at 2% or less, we're going to see some really good rates over the next 3 years. And people are going to continue to gravitate out. But the next point, really an interesting stat, a silver lining, the pandemic made it more affordable to own a home. We felt that way over the last 6 months, but I didn't know the numbers. So what happened basically with the pandemic, lost wages totaled about $23 billion, right? The government subsidies to replace those wages totaled about $56 billion, almost more than double what they lost was provided in care by the government. On average, that's affected income, and disposable income on a per family home basis is up 11%. You take that increase in home income and you couple it with a 1.69 5-year fixed mortgage rate, and now you understand the activity we're seeing in the marketplace. The next stat is I think an even bigger stat. In the second quarter of 2020, permanent residents plummeted 64%. In actual fact, more people left the country than came into the country. That's unheard of for Canada. Our whole basis of continuing to grow and build and prosper is based on people coming into this country, because it's a great country to come into, and we filter who comes in to some degree to have a very strong and healthy economic workforce. So that had a big impact and I think it's also had a big impact on the condo market downtown. Because when you look at a lot of foreign students, we're not having foreign students come in. Once the market opens up and those foreign students come back, along with what the government is calling for next year, 1.2 million immigrants in Canada next year. You couple that with foreign students coming back, and foreign students are usually a little bit wealthier. The parents buy them a place to live in so they can come and visit and stay and be with their child sometimes when they're in school. When all that stuff happens and we have those people come back into the market, this number, this whole immigration, which I didn't think it was that much of an impact, 64%, will have a positive push, I believe, on the real estate market in Canada. So the last point is it's a little bit counterintuitive to what I'm saying. However, the financial strains could potentially unleash a wave of properties for sale. We're not seeing that. The reason why we're not seeing that is partly because of the second point here. The government's giving aid, $56 billion in aid. There's no talk of aid stopping. It's being tweaked, adjusted, managed, amended, but it's not stopping. It's coming out into the marketplace in some fashion. That aid is going to help us eliminate financial strain. The other part is the deferrals. The banks are working with everybody to not to keep them in their homes. You have the first thing you can do is cap your payments to your mortgage principal. Second thing you can do is increase your amortization once you've capped your payments if you still need that kind of help. Thirdly, they'll look at customizing an even lower payment if that doesn't work. And fourthly, they'll even consider another 3-month deferral if that doesn't work. So if people are allowed to stay in their home because the banks are working with them, we're not going to see that unleashing of waves of properties on the marketplace. And that'll keep our price index a little bit higher as a result of that. So I don't think we're I think as long as we can get this pandemic managed to some degree in the next 4 to 6 months, I think the outlook for 2021 in the last 2 quarters is going to be very positive. And that's pretty much all I have, Harry.
All right, great. So, this is why I love having Joe on, because he brings a lot of good information to the sales meeting.
Oh, can I show you one more thing, Harry? Sorry,
Yep.
Just one
Go
more
ahead.
thing. That's not it. Hold on a sec. Here it is. No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, so that email that we sent, when that gets disseminated, if you scroll down where it says read report and you click into that button, it's going to take you to the actual deck that has a lot more detail. So if you want to share information with your clients, you've got the summary of what I just talked about on point number 1, but you also got a graph. You got the summary of point number 2 and a graph. Summary of point number 3 and a graph. So you have a lot of really juicy data here to share with your customers. And if you want to get even more excited, you can click on a button like this and look what it brings you to. It brings you to a whole bunch of information. This is free information. It's bank information. It's right. But you can talk about energy. You can talk about, you want to talk about innovation, the diversity. There's just little things that you can share with your clients. And this is what Ninja is all about. Add value with information that's going to be relative and educational, and in some cases entertaining, and you will grow your firm business hand over fist. Sorry, Harry.
No, that was great. That's awesome. Somebody asked if you can put that URL that you were just on into the chat.
Yeah, so no, the only way I know how to do it, and again, and maybe Joseph can help here. I just do mortgages here. So if you click on that button, everybody's going to have that button. Just click on that button and go.
Yeah, so I'm just like you, Joe. So what we'll do is we'll get that URL from Joe and we'll put it in tomorrow's summary or recap. But as I was saying, I always love to have Joe on here because he brings great information and it just ties in with what we talked about today. What is your unique selling proposition? What's your value proposition to your clients? Everybody, we have 58,000 realtors. We talked about you need to differentiate yourself from all those other realtors. And this is how you do it. You provide them with this type of information. Immigration is down. What else did you talk about? There was immigration. There was...
Well, we talked about here. I'll go back. We talked about immigration.
Yeah. I want to focus on the immigration because look what's happening with our real estate market. We're doing really, really well. Immigration is down, which was a driving force before. When that comes back to the market, combined with these low interest rates, it's just going to be another crazy, hectic market. And now's the time for our realtors to reach out to their database and say, look at this report from RBC. Maybe now is the time to refinance, take out some of that equity on your principal residence or any other property that they might have, and look to invest into an investment property. Or again, there's the other question we had this week from one of our realtors. Maybe now's the time to take advantage of a reverse mortgage and pull out some equity without having the payments and invest into a rental property. Rental properties right now, the rental market's not the greatest, but it will bounce back.
Yeah, but it might be a great opportunity for a future sale. It might not be, you might not make $100,000 tonight, but you've got an opportunity to make some money over the next couple of years.
Right. So it's about reaching out to your database, giving them that value proposition, differentiating yourself from other realtors. And like Joe said, they might not buy today, next week, next month, or in the next 3 months, but when they're ready, they're going to reach out to you. You know why? Because you brought it to their attention. You have that top of mind presence with them. You provided them with good information. And this is what you need to do. It's all about building a book of business and
Right.
having
And
that database.
so Harry, this is when you look at Buffini, when you look at Richard Robbins or the Robbins guy, when you look at Kits, when you
Right.
look at all these programs, Ninja, and when you look at what we're doing, I could do 7 of these calls a week with the Red Home offices. Not once do I ask anybody for a mortgage. What we do is provide data, and if that data is helpful, people call us and have inquiries. It's the same concept that you're going to do with your clients. Don't ask them if they want to buy or sell a house. Give them information that provides them with data that's going to help them, that's going to educate them, that's going to help them, be quicker, faster, stronger. And they'll call you. They'll do business with you. It's what we learn all day long.
Right. One thing that my dad told me and I've learned is that competition is good. So competition is good because if you're doing the things we're telling you to do and you're building your brand and reaching out to your target market, guess what? 90% of the other realtors on the Toronto Real Estate Board are not doing it. So you stand out. So they make you look good. So this is why you need to take advantage of branding and marketing and building your database. It differentiates you from all the other realtors that don't do it, and you stand out. All right, appreciate that, Joe. And
Thanks, Harry.
every time you come on, I see those interest rates, and I just say, wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah, rates are crazy.
People need to take advantage if they can. All right, so today's takeaways. You need to define what your value proposition is, and we've touched on a few ideas here today. You need to decide what your brand is going to look like. You need to have a defined marketing plan. And if you've already gone through these 3 steps, don't be afraid to rebrand yourself, especially if you're going into a different target market. You need to do that. So you need to start building your brand if you haven't already, because you are the brand. And that's how I started off today's meeting. That's the biggest misnomer in our industry, is that agents think the brokerage is the brand. Get that out of your mind, because the brokerage is not the brand. You're the brand. You're the one that generates all the business. Again, when I tell new registrants that are joining our brokerage, you have to have the mindset and you have to think that it's your own company, and you are an independent contractor. You are building your own business, your own book of business. So you're the president, you're the CEO, you're the rainmaker, you're the lead generator, you're the marketing guy or the marketing lady. You do everything. You're building your business. Don't brand the brokerage. So you'll see, if you look at a lot of the websites of the top producers, you don't see their company name or their company logo right off the hop when you go to their webpage, but you do have to have it down at the bottom, near the bottom of the webpage, to comply with RICO advertising guidelines. They brand themselves. They don't brand the brokerage. Any questions? So as usual, we have this slide for resources. I've repeated myself quite often with respect to, what you could find, where you could find it. The one thing I want to touch on today is, again, please log into Wolf Connect. We've reorganized it. There's many more tabs there. And again, we have the new tabs with respect to Prex and the agent portal that agents should be looking at. Let me see. Is there anything in the chat, Joseph?
No, everyone's just saying thank you.
All right. All right. So please take advantage of those resources, because you are a member of these websites and you have paid for them. Finally, the quote of the day. So for a committed person, there is no such thing as failure. So if you're not committed, if you don't have the buy-in, if you don't have the time, effort to implement different ideas and marketing plans and resources into your business, then you will fail. So you need to be committed. And it ties in with the quote we had in business planning. that we started off with each session with. Those who fail to plan to fail. You need to have a plan, marketing plan, business plan, and you need to be committed to implementing those plans. If you don't implement those plans, nothing's going to happen. All right. And I think that's it. So thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next week. Apparently, we're supposed to have some great weather over the next 4 or 5 days. Hopefully, everybody can get out for a walk and enjoy that weather. And look for the recap tomorrow. It'll be sent out by Joseph. And we'll see you on next week's sales meeting. Thank you for watching. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks,
Take
Joe.
care.